You may use Git on your personal machine. Right now, hold on. I'm going to talk about Git. First off, please log in the machine in front of you if you wish to follow me step by step. I'll try and help you through the entire process. So how many of y'all have heard of Git? Couple. Well, okay, everyone who's taken my class obviously has. So Git is a repository system. And a repository system is basically the way that computer scientists store their code so they can work on it with other programmers. Git is pretty much going straight on to becoming the de facto repository system out there. There are plenty of other good ones out there. Let's see, Mercurial is good. Subversion has been used for a while and does a lot of good things. And there's plenty of other ones out there. But Git has been really pushing forward. The kernel uses it. Google uses it.
The kernel from KFC?
The kernel.
Yes.
Yeah, that kernel. Hey, once you get the kernel from KFC, what more do you need? No, the Linux kernel uses it. Good catch. But Google used it all the time as well. We're not going to go into this, even the intermediate features of Git. We're just going to stick with the basics. And the reason for this is, for my classes, it's good for you to start learning. Now, once you jump into a project, there's going to be a process you have to learn in order to actually contribute to that project. And even for a couple of y'all who are not computer science majors, being able to know Git is actually very helpful because you'll be able to at least interface with their code base. And they will definitely appreciate that, trust me. All right, so Git, let's see, introduction. Version control, pretty much all real projects use it. It's essential for team projects, but it can also be very useful for individuals. Some well-known systems, we've got CVS, Subversion, Mercurial, and Git. The big difference is that CVS and Subversion are central, and Mercurial and Git are distributed. I'm trying to think of how useful that is to y'all. If that doesn't make any sense when you're going through the slides, that's okay, don't worry about it too much. At least for this class. Why are we using this? Well, Git allows you to store your source code in a repository. Since we're going to be using GitHub, that means your code will be stored up on GitHub. And whenever you push your code up there, it creates a version or a backup copy of your code at that time. So first off, there's essentially a time machine that if you're working on your code, then all of a sudden you check it in, then later you delete the whole thing, well, you can pull it back as well and get it back on your machine. Also, if you pushed and checked in a bunch of times and you realize the way you've been going has been wrong, you can actually roll back to a previous edition that you pushed up there and start working from there as well. For working with others, it actually simplifies concurrent work because when used correctly, it'll merge all your changes for you. So when someone else tries to commit code and two people are committing code that may work on the same file, Git will actually try and merge those so you don't have to manually figure out what lines go where, and also keep track of who's done what as well. Also, it will help you for getting an internship or a job because they like to see that you've used a repository system before. And basically any company with a clue uses it. And don't work at companies that don't use it, please. All right, why are we using Git? I'm going to use it for you to submit your assignments and provide feedback. Git has many advantages over Subversion and CVS. Git is actually fairly new. I think it's 06, if I recall correctly. CVS, I don't remember how old that is, and Subversion is around 90s. But it's definitely been known for being more efficient, can give you a better workflow, and there's a ton of literature out there. We could go with Mercurial or something else, but I just chose Git for what we do. It's what I'm most familiar with, although Mercurial is perfectly fine. If you wish to hear it, by Linux, I mean Linus, put up a good video. This is he went to Google in 2007 and basically told them to stop using Perforce, which was another repository system, because it's terrible and all of y'all are idiots for using it. Please use Git instead. And then they switched. So if you want to, see the video, what?
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, change go. Yeah, Linus, if you ever watch his videos, is very opinionated about everything. But I think he did a good job with Git. There are a ton of online materials. First off, if you wish to download it for your machine, there's the first link, git-scm downloads, and that will install Git on your Windows machine. Let's see, there's some beginner's definitive practical guide. Git is primarily a command line tool. For this class, I try not to expect y'all to know the command line or work with it, so we're going to use a GUI on top of it. And this time I'm going to try and use Git extensions, which is located here, to do most of the work. Now, unfortunately, there's going to be 1 or 2 times we'll have to jump to the command line. Just stick with me. It's not going to be too hard as long as you do it step by step. But these tools are already installed on the lab machines in front of you, and that's why I've asked you to log in.
So personal machines, when you download both Git and the extension?
Yeah, for your personal machines, download the Git SCM first, and then download the extensions on top of it. Git extensions may ask you to install a couple of other things depending on what's on your machine at the time.
You said Windows. Will it work for Mac as well?
Yes, it'll work for Mac as well. I do not know if Git extensions for Mac. Ooh. But I bet Mac has a nice, pretty GUI that makes it all easy and simple. Lies. But yeah, tell me what you find out. It's been around for a while. There should be something very easy for you to use.
And if not, that's your project.
That's your class project.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the general process. I want it to be somewhat verbose when you are working on your lab or project for this course, so that it's clear what's going on. First, you want to join the team. Hopefully everyone here has sent me their GitHub and you've gotten your invitation. You click on it. All right, you're now part of the team. Congratulations. The first thing we're going to do is fork the repository, and that'll create another image up on there. We want to clone it to your machine. We want to set up the upstream if necessary. I think a lot of this makes more sense if we look at it pictorially. So let me jump forward. Where is it? There we go. Overview. The overview of this, I found a lot of people have trouble with this, so I'm going to try and make this simple. You have GitHub's infrastructure up top. There's the course repository, and hopefully you'll have your repository. And then using the internet, you'll have your machine, which is a clone, and then there's my machine that's an auto-grader with the clone of your repository as well. So this is an overarching architecture of what's happening. How do we start? Well, once you've joined, the first thing you want to do is fork on GitHub, and that creates a copy of the course repository and makes a copy of your repository on GitHub. So let's go and jump over and do that. So first off, you want to log into GitHub. And so there's me. I'm currently Professor West, so let me sign in as my alter ego. Paul of the West.
Paul of the West.
Who is that guy?
Related to the Richard West.
So the repositories you contribute to, let's see, that's the fall one, so if I click there and I do 2017, it should come right. Oh, it's not what you've been looking for. Spring, that'd be why. There we go. All right. So if you're here, here's the course repository. First thing you want to do is click on fork. I've already forked it, but there'll be another icon right there to go ahead and fork. So let me give you all a minute to make sure some of y'all can do that.
Where at?
What are you looking for? When you're at the course repository, you click fork right here. It's going to come up with a menu asking you where to fork it, aka your username. Just click on your username and then click fork.
Here, read that.
Sure. After you've joined the group, you go to the course repository located right here, and then you click on fork, this fork button right here. Boom. It's going to come up with a menu. Right in here, if you haven't forked it already, you would click on your username and then click fork, and it'll say, hold on, I'm forking. So yeah, click on fork. Or you already forked it. Great.
Quick question on installing Git software.
Mhm.
Do I want to use it from the Windows command prompt? It's giving me 3 options.
Oh, yes, thank you for doing this in class.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, you want to use Git from Git dash only. Then you want to check out as is the Unix style line heading. Boom. That's fine.
Wait, which part of the phone? Oh, there it is.
There you go.
I was totally understanding.
It will still work if you chose the other options. You'll just have a couple of weird errors every once in a while. This one's just easier. Yes.
I already worked this one, but I don't remember it.
So you haven't installed it yet?
It's for this section. I have to get one.
Interesting. Well, just click install Git. And wait, hold on. Oh, required soft. Oh, so you've already installed it? What do you do? You can install it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this is, because I don't have extensions on it. I just have it.
Whenever I first started college.
Yeah, you're installing it. That's fine. Putty.
You could turn it on and off.
Okay. When you have forked it correctly, it's going to take it a little while to fork. You should see a menu that looks similar to this. You'll probably have more on yours because you've forked yours more recently. But what's most important to see is that your username / CSCI 325 Spring 2016 is up on top. Underneath, it's a CSU-CSCI underneath it. That way you are looking at your repository, which is a fork of the class repository. Okay? Now, that creates a copy of the class repository on GitHub, yes?
I can't get past that invitation.
The invitation, all right, I'm going to have to help you in a bit, sorry. Create a copy on the repository on GitHub. So there's 2 repositories, they exist on GitHub. Next, we want to create a clone of your repository on your machine. The way we do that is the first thing you want to, oh boy, I got to do this through Windows. Hang on. Let me do this through Windows so everyone's on the same page.
You and your non-traditional.
Hey, I don't think anyone used Windows at Google. There we go. And then fork. No. Did I type in the wrong thing? Professor West. Ah, I typed in the wrong one. Sure.
I feel like if Adam West had a repository or an account on this thing, he would also do Adam of the West.
Adam of the West.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Or he just goes straight up that dude.
Oh wow, look at all those forks that just happened. That's great. All right, so here we are under Windows. First thing, you want to click on clone or download, and you want to copy this URL, https github blah 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 blah. Well, it's github.com / your username / csci 325 spring 2017.git. Now, under your machines, I would highly go look at your machine, and there should be I believe it's an X drive is your personal drive, if I recall correctly. And I would navigate there. I don't have that here because this is a laptop, so I'm just going to go straight to the desktop and do everything. But I would navigate to where you want to have your Git repository located. Then to clone it, I would do right-click on the empty space, and you want Git extension clone. It should load up Git extensions. Okay, here we go. Checklist. Says your username and email address need to be configured. Go ahead and click repair and put that all in for it. Let's see. Just hit OK, and then it should be happy, and you should eventually get to something along the lines of this.
Well, what? Okay.
If it asks you to put in some extra information, go ahead and do it.
Never.
Right click.
We all
Get ext clone.
Quick question for you.
English, unless you want it to be in Japanese. Okay, good. You're already at the menu. Perfect. Yes. Someone asked a question. Yes.
Which one of these do I need?
Let's do the setup. It's just the setup.msi, the regular one. That should work fine. Yes. All right, then just do it on your desktop. Yeah, if you can't get to the X drive, put it on your desktop. Okay. Once you're here, repository to clone, that's where you want to paste in the repository. The destination is hopefully where you have it. Actually, I want this one to be on the desktop. The directory you want to create, the branch you want it to be head, personal repository, that's all good to go. And then you're going to want to click clone.
So should we put it on our desktop?
You can put it on your desktop if you choose to, or you can put it on your network drive, depending on what you prefer. You put it on your desktop, realize that you only be able to, well, when you go to another machine, you're going to have to re-clone, which is fine. There's no problem with that. Just keep that in your mind.
There can be only one machine.
There can be many machines, but you seem to choose that one. Is that your favorite? You've had a good time? Yeah? Okay. Always?
Always and
Oh,
always.
we push clone?
Yeah, so make sure your repository is that the link you copied, you pasted it up there. Make sure the destination is correct, subdirectory is great, head, and then you're going to click clone. Now, when you click clone, Git extensions may give you a couple of errors. Just continue. And then it may also ask for your username and password. Make sure you put those in. Wow, mine's just going to do it. I bet that's not going to happen for anyone else.
Mine too just went through it.
You just went through it?
Just went through it, man.
Yep. Well, that's certainly nice.
That's Windows for you.
All right then. All right, then you click OK. And now you should have a directory that contains the repository that's basically a clone of everything up there.
Why does yours have a check?
So on mine, it looks like I have Tortoise Git installed, which makes those check marks. I need to uninstall Tortoise because it's going to make things a little confusing.
Freaking me out, man. You're freaking me out.
Whoa! Okay. So if you first go into your repository and you see Git, you see the repository, which will reflect what you see in the web browser up here. Yes.
Why is it that you don't have lab 00 on there?
Because I forked it before
Okay.
it was pushed. Because I'm going to give you another example of what's important. Y'all can't experience this yet, but you'll see why it's important. Yes.
On the Git extension setup, a little bit SSH or PUT?
Putty. You're under Windows, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so putty. Definitely putty. Okay, so that's how you create a clone. I'm going to go tell you a couple more things. At some point, the autograder will actually clone your repository as well, doing something similar. We're not going to get to too much of this today, but be aware that an add tells Git what files to commit. A commit bundles your changes into a package to be later sent, and a push will not succeed until there's something to push, aka you've made a commit. So when you adding tells Git what you want to push back up to your repository. Commit bundles it up into a commit package, and then push actually pushes it up to your repository. So those are 3 basic steps we need to keep separate. A push will actually push your changes from your machine back to your repository, and later on the autograder will pull your changes back and then push some grade, once it's done its grade, back to your repository. Git pull will always retrieve the latest from your repo. I'm going to talk a bit more about pushing later, but right now I want to make sure pulling is clear. So back here, if you want to get the latest changes from your repo, you'd right-click notice I'm inside the directory. I right-click on the empty space. What's that? Get extensions, pull. It's going to look something like this.
Whoa, what?
Oh, no, mine doesn't look like that.
Yeah, I got a checklist.
You got a checklist? If you got a checklist, click on repair. I showed this earlier. Put in your username and email. We just want-
Forget that username?
Yes, for GitHub. Right. Right now you only want to pull from origin, so if you click pull, it's going to try and pull something. Obviously there's been no changes to your repository, so it's going to say everything up to date. But if there were changes to your repository, this is how you would pull from your repo. Alright. Now you'll notice that at least on my repository, I only have course material, but if I were to look Come on. If I were to look at the classes repository, I've put up lab 0. That's because when I push to the course repository, I cannot push to your repo either. So in order to get the changes from the class repo, you have to set up a separate upstream. Unfortunately, Git extensions does not make this easy. In fact, it has thwarted me at every turn, so we're going to use the command line in order to do this. And it's not hard as long as you type in exactly what I tell you. You only have to do this once. And it's being recorded, so if you need to do it again later, just do it here. So back in here, make sure you're in your directory, right-click on the space. This is where you're going to click on Git Bash here. When you click on that button, it should bring up a
Should I
term.
be worried that there isn't a little icon by it?
No.
No.
As long as you get this terminal, everything's good. Make sure you're in that directory. It says master. You're going to do git remote add upstream, and then what you want to type in is the URL right here. And actually, can I paste? Paste.
Which one? What did you say?
You can type this in if you want to, or you can go back here and copy that URL and put -git afterwards. Well, that was bad.
Wait,
Just type this in.
okay, I'm just going to type that in.
Just type this in. And be very careful you type it correctly. If not, I'll have to help you fix your error. Git space remote space add space upstream space https://github.com/csc-cs-325-spring-2017.git. Did I get that right? Yeah. You only have to do this once. All right, when you hit enter, it's going to appear nothing happened. That's because it worked. Unless you type something in wrong, then you're going to get an error later on in life. But hopefully you typed it in right. If not, just come grab me. I'll help fix it. We only have to do this once. Once that's done, you will type exit to close the window. I'm going to leave this window up in case someone else needs to see it later. But you would type exit, hit enter, and that menu would go away.
What happens if you don't push it or type in exit?
Then that menu is just the window staying up. You can just close it with X if you want to. Now, if you go here and you go back to Get Extensions Pull, we're going to go back to that Pull menu. All right.
On the command line prompt, what was after 2017?
.git.
.git.
So,
Yeah, there, it stays right up there for anyone who needs to see it. Perfect. Go to Pull. Now, notice Origins here, but you're also going to have something called Upstream. If you want to pull from the class repository, it is Upstream, so I click on Upstream, and then I'm going to go to Pull. Now, when I do this,
okay.
yes?
Continue. I will.
Okay, when I do this, it's going to actually, you didn't specify a remote branch, you want to pull from upstream master, that's perfectly fine. It's going to start pulling. I'm going to actually have changes because I haven't updated my repo in a while. It's going to pull those in. It's going to say, hooray, you're done. So I'm going to just click OK. Now notice in my directory, lab00 has popped up. So whenever you want to get the latest from the class repository, all you have to do is right-click, Get Extensions, Pull, change it from origin to upstream, hit Pull. Yes, you want to do it from the master, and then it's going to go ahead and do it for you.
So lab00 was already there for me, but
Because you forked it once after I've already pushed it.
Okay.
It wasn't there for me because when I forked the repo, it was before lab00 had been pushed.
okay, so from now on we have to do that. with
Right.
additionals. Okay.
Right. Okay. Any questions? All right. Let me jump back to Git. I think I need to go over a couple more things to make sure it's clear. Retrieves the latest. Git pull pulls the latest from the class repository to your machine. Oh, here's a great question. So git pull from your repository pulls it from your repo to your local machine, and then git pull upstream pulling from the upstream pulls the latest from the course repository to your machine. Does your GitHub repository, that's misspelled, have the latest at this point in time?
No.
No, why not?
It's just completely bypassed your repository for the course, from the course repository.
Everything's stored on your machine at this point.
Yeah.
So if I were to actually, for me, and you're going to run into this situation, look at my course repository. I'll do a refresh just to show you. Lab00 is still not up there. One way to push to it is go right-click, Get Extensions, Push. I've actually never tried this. Remote Origin Master. Sounds great. Do it. Resolving done. All right.
Wait, hold on. Just move that window. Just slightly move it up or all the way down. Either way. Okay, cool.
I just took the defaults. I didn't have to change anything. I just clicked Do It, Push. And then I click OK. I pushed it. Now if I go back to my repository, and if I were to do a refresh, Lab00 is now up there. All right. Good. Git extensions going to make this easy. Okay. All right, we talked about this. I have put in a couple of slides to help you out getting it set up. Fortunately, I ran out of time to finish it. But when you join, you should get an email like this. You're going to want to click on, to join, you're going to want to click on, let's see what we got. Right here to go ahead and join it. You're on GitHub. You need to log in and then click on the class repository, so it should look something like this. When you click fork, this is going to be your icon that you're going to see. They have a little fork right there. Then you'll have your repository versus the class repo. You need to copy that URL, go Git Extensions Clone. You got to fill it up right there. Maybe put it on your X drive if you want to store it there. Then hit Clone. If it asks for your login information, which I'm surprised it didn't, I wonder what's going on. It may have been able to pull it from the fact that you logged in to the website. You'd have to put that in there. Get it all down, click Done. And then this is how you do the upstream. So I have another picture inside the...
You gotta navigate. You gotta navigate your way there.
navigate. So never forget to navigate. Apparently, I didn't run spell checker either. Navigate to your repository. Right-click, carefully type in the following command. If you mistyped it, come get me. I'll fix it for you real quick. You can always pull by doing git extensions pull. Unfortunately, this picture is a little backwards. You can pull from origin or master. Origin pulls from your repo. Upstream pulls from the class repo. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about pushing in a moment. Any questions over what I've done so far? I haven't really covered pushing that much. I will upload this video so you can watch it again later. Okay. Let's go ahead and